Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another week of Dread Zone Gaming League of Legends as we are getting right into the bans. We have Dread Zone Gaming Styx versus Rising Tide here as we already have Wukong taken away from the table. Tonight I'm joined for the first time by Mags. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing alright. I'm actually really excited to A, be here, and B, to watch this Week 4 matchup between Styx and Rising Tide, two of the higher ranking seeds so far in Metashift.
Absolutely, I'm excited as well, as we do see Cassiopeia taken away. Shyvana joins the ban table, so does Vigar. And we know that Vigar has been piloted to great success in the mid lane by Dracana. And no roster changes coming into this week for the side of DZG Styx. And once again, let me apologize, Rising Tide Tsunami is the team that Styx is playing against tonight. So, with that being said, we're now waiting for the last two bans to come out. And what are some of the big things that you're looking to really play out in this draft? I know you said that they're two high seeds. What are some of the big things you want to see here tonight, Max?
So one of the things I'm really interested in seeing is Rising Tide Tsunami has a sub support in, so I want to see. So there's the Styx getting the first pick Nautilus. I want to see if they're gonna. I was gonna say if they were gonna try and get a counter pick into that matchup. But a lot of mid lane focus on the side of Rising Tide Tsunami with the Cassiopeia and the Vigar ban, and also paying respect to that a bit of Restrain's ability to split push with that Yorick.
Certainly. Now, one of the things that we saw last week come out of DZG Styx is Reality Real coming into this team and bringing the bot lane a completely different identity. They played a lot through the bot lane, and it looked very impressive last week, to the point that we even dubbed the term reality check whenever somebody was getting hit by those hooks coming out of reality down there in the bot lane, and followed up by Astro's just follow through on that or on whatever champion she was playing. It was fantastic to watch this bot lane come online, so I'm super excited to see the Nautilus come in, and a great counter, in my opinion, with the Leona coming into the bot lane. Mags, you're a support player. How you feeling about that support matchup?
So I really think on a base level it's a Leona favorite matchup, but if the Nautilus knows how to play that matchup, Nautilus can very easily win that. If he knows his timing on his Q with the Zenith Blade, he can interrupt her and get his Aftershock or Glacial before she even has a chance to get off an ability.
Certainly, so definitely a lot coming in there, and the Ezreal coming in once again for DZG Astro. Had an amazing performance last week, and we're seeing the Renekton again coming out of Shane in the top lane. We saw it last week. We criticized it last week in the draft phase, Max. We were like, I don't like Renekton, especially since it was picked into an ult. And he shut us up. He got onto the enemy AD carry every single time. Despite going 0-3 in the lane, he got so much pressure on him last week. And he came out and shined with the rest of the roster. Now, Poppy will be a fantastic pick if it's locked in, and it was locked in. Poppy's W is able to just obliterate what Slice and Dice wants to do, but it can't do shit against Arcane Shift, Mags. So, we're seeing the first three picks coming out. We're now starting to see the bans. How you feeling about this draft so far?
Honestly, even though I am a little biased towards DZG, I'm kind of liking Rising Tide's draft so far because, yeah, Ezreal E isn't stopped by Poppy, but you're stopping the only two forms of engage through Nautilus Hook and Renekton Dash. And at the moment, that's all we're able to see, and that's all DZG has in order to get onto the Xayah, who will be peeling herself back.
So that could be either a lane Poppy, or it could be the jungle Poppy coming in here for the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. Now, this flex should give them a lot of viability here to really play out the rest of this draft and really utilize that R5 pick to great effect. Do you think that's going in the top lane right now, or do you think that's going in the jungle? Just looking on initial impressions.
My first thought is that this is going to be a top lane Poppy, but I doubt we are going to find that out until the very last pick of this draft. My expectation is going to be an R4 for the mid lane, and that'll leave the flex open for as long as possible, kind of letting DZG know as little as they can.
Right. Well, I did take a look at the OP.GGs, and it does look like Kenny does play the Poppy, second most played champion, actually. But with that being a Kindred hover right there, that might be some mind games coming in from the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. Or if they lock that in, it's going to be a very interesting team comp. Poppy needs to be very smart about her hammer usage, but I think that's a jungle Poppy coming in. So Poppy going up top to specifically counter Shane's Renekton. And we talked about that debut coming in to deny the slice and dice out of Renekton. I think that might have been the best play. Maybe held on to that for R5, maybe bring in that Kindred R5 to really sow a little chaos in the draft, but not giving away the counter pick there in the mid lane. They get two lane counters here. This is fantastic for the side of Rising Tide. And Trundle coming in, and once again, a fantastic pick, but if Poppy is not going to be his opponent in the jungle, and Kindred not really having too many tanky stats, that's not looking too bad here from the side of Rising Tide Tsunami.
Not looking too bad, but it's really on if DZG can maximize their efficiency with seeing the flex already taken off the board,
Right.
and
Well,
seeing how well they're able to punish it.
Well, we did see the Vigard taken away from Jakana, but he comes in with an Anivia of all things. That wave clear is going to be absolutely insane in the late game, but definitely not a pick that I was expecting. I was expecting maybe a Victor coming in, something really strong. But I guess the answer for that is going to be a Lux. So a very interesting choice here from the side of DZG. Styx coming into this one, and also a very interesting counter in the form of a Lux in the mid lane. But we see it. We see the whole entire team comp now played out for both sides. From the side of DZG, in the top lane, we have Renekton. Into the jungle, Trundle. Mid lane, coming the Bird of Frost and Nivea, with the bot lane, Ezreal and Nautilus to round that comp out. First, on the side of Rising Tide Tsunami, Poppy in the top lane of all things, Kindred coming into the jungle, Lux in the mid lane, and Xayah Leona for the bot lane of Rising Tide. Mags, we see all five on each side. How do you feel about this draft?
So I'm gonna give the ease of execution to Styx. I think they just have a very general, we are gonna team fight and we're gonna beat you with every bit of gold and stats we have. But if Rising Tide plays this correctly, plays this on a disengage and just picking people off, I just think comp for comp that Rising Tide will win this.
Okay.
But the challenge is on Rising Tide to be able to do that. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a lot of the early game decision making here coming out of either side, right? Kindred needs those stacks to be an absolute menace. Otherwise, if and that's really going to dictate how the map plays out, right? Invading for stats, looking for those scuttle crowns early, if any get tagged onto an objective, which does beg the interesting question of objective control as well. I think that right now, with the way that I've seen DZG play this game out, it's going to be really hard for the side of Rising Tide to be able to punish DZG in a defensive 4v5. They're going to have to answer Shane in the side lane. I think the big benefit that they do have is that if Shane ever wants to join a fight, it's going to be very hard for him to do so. Xayah, with Featherstorm being available to her, is going to be very hard to annihilate. Kindred has the ultimate to rely on to deny the execution of a Renekton. So DZG need to be very smart with how they play the map, and I think ease of execution, 100% I agree with you, does fall onto Rising Tide Tsunami. So overall, I think Rising Tide Tsunami did come out a little bit better on the draft side of the house.
Yeah, but I mean, we're all aware. We've all watched pro games, and draft isn't everything. It's all about 3 minutes into the game, something could go entirely different, and what you are playing doesn't matter.
Certainly.
If Shane gets a first blood, Poppy can be snowballing.
100%. And we've seen some of the interesting paths and roaming that have come out with both Cute and Reality in the last series, with both of them bringing a lot of attention and success to the mid lane and getting Dracana ahead. Now, they've also seen a lot of those reality checks coming in on the bot lane. Now, granted, Xayah Leona, a little bit harder to do that, but that Lux needs to be very cognizant of where they're going to be positioned throughout this game, just due to the fact that, you've got the extremely aggressive pathing coming out of Cute, you've got the roaming coming out of Reality, but also we've seen Reality go top and influence things on the top side of the map as well. So, also, this early game, the first 3 minutes, the first 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and say 6 minutes. We're going to be very interesting to watch, and I think we'll have a lot better of a picture then, certainly. But I just got to side with that ease of execution coming out of this side of Rising Tide here, though, Max.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see where this Trundle is gonna path. If he's gonna path towards the lane that's already gonna be suffering in the Renekton versus Poppy, or if he's gonna path to the lane that's honestly kind of just harder to gank of the Ezreal Nautilus versus the Leona Zaya.
Certainly. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to head into a quick spectate delay. We'll catch you here in about 3 minutes, bringing you the first game of the series of Dreadzone Gaming Styx versus Rising Tide Tsunami. Stay tuned. We are back getting on the riff with the first game of Dread Zone Gaming 6 versus Rising Tide Tsunami. Looks like we're having a 5-man rush coming out of here by DZG right now. Reality is leading the charge versus the 5-man spread of the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. I think that's going to be spotted out here, but the reality check isn't going to come through, and I don't think he has Rich. He flashes forward. Kenny flashes almost instantly as well. Flash for flash, jungle for support. Not entirely sure how I feel about that, just on a merits gained basis. But looking at everything, I'm not seeing anything too crazy. Mags, thanks for joining me again. What are you seeing here on the map?
The main thing I'm noticing rune-wise is gonna be the Leona going glacial, so that's gonna indicate to me she's probably going to be a bit more of a peel-orientated support. And I am not that against Reality flashing, trying to catch that Kindred, because Reality has Cosmic Insight. It's gonna be taking an entire minute off his flash cooldown, opting to have more of that playmaker potential, even for those invades, and kind of keeps Kindred on her toes.
Astute observation there. We did see vision for vision coming in. So the double ward on the top side of the map from the side of DZG. First, the double ward in the bot side of the map for the side of Rising Tide. So both teams will know where the jungles are going to be and hopefully have a little bit of jungle tracking going on. But I say hopefully, I mean that with a grain of salt, because I would love to see some shenanigans coming out early in this game. One of the big things to look for is going to be this level 1 Scuttle Crab, and if Kindred is able to guess the 50-50 correctly, and then how DZG want to be able to react to that as well. It could be very interesting to watch, as Shane is playing aggressively up here into this top lane. So we see the early game starting up. We're seeing a double tier side from DZG, double tier start rather. What's the big breaking point that you're really looking forward to here, Max?
I really think the big breaking point is just going to be on whichever team decides to pull the trigger first and how that goes. I think if whoever decides to pull it first, if they can get it off successfully, I think either team has the ability to really get ahead off of even a slight lead off of any kind of early play.
Well, this is exciting. We are seeing Shane fight really aggressively in Aeolian use. That's going to be an interesting one to say as this game goes on. And Kindred's on the top side of the map. Now, we also see the inverse here. Cute is on the bot side of the map with the enemy bot side pushed in and is looking for the Scuttle Crab, might look for the gank after, but Shane is low. Now, I don't think Poppy's going to be able to get there to deny this slice and dice here, but it is going to be interesting. He uses nothing yet, but he's playing really aggressively into this, uses the slice, uses the dice, gets out, and takes a good chunk of the health bar, but on the bot side of the map, we're seeing the reality check go forward. That is a root on Hooper Simp, but the damage was not correctly identified. Both Wizward and Hooper Simp will flash out. That is also the heal utilized from the side of Wizward. Now fighting going here in the mid lane. That will be the egg popped on Nidia, and I do not think King Tooler has the damage to be able to follow this one up. Egg popped in the mid lane. Flash and heal burned in the bot lane. That was a lot going on in the map here, and I think DZG came up the better for it.
I think DZG came the better for it, but honestly, I think they could have gotten a kill off a bot lane.
Oh, wall coming out here, Cute moving forward, and we're looking for the stun. We'll connect. That was the Charnel Pillar mixed with the stun, but remember, Dracana does not have the egg available. Cute all forward by himself, and will be the barrier coming out, followed by the flash. That might have been a little too much burn there from the side of King Tooler, but another successful gank. Now, Kenny is looking forward, but reality is here and does not connect with the reality check, and that will be that gank going in favor of DZG. Oh, so much action here, Max. Break some of that down for me, please.
I just hoping for your own sake, they're gonna give us just a second for you to breathe. I mean, going back to the very first gank in the bot lane, I was gonna say Styx had the ability to kill, but they were focusing two separate targets, and they're fighting again down here.
Followed up by some after damage. No, there is no summoners available. 2% will be able to walk that one out. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, you're fine. And then top lane gank is unfruitful. Shane able to get himself out without even having to burn his flash. And then both junglers going towards the mid lane, and Ketty able to get the counter gank off, even though still forcing your Lux to use both of her summons just to stay alive.
now we do see Kenny hovering down here on the bot side, but one of the things that you pointed out was fantastic to observe. Shane didn't even bother to use Flash. That's because Aeolios was not in the position to really deny any sort of the escape there from the side of Shane. Now, Kindred, great damage champion, but has no way to lock up a target. Can slow a little bit with her abilities and a chilling smite, but that's not the smite she's going. Now, Shane is taking a lot of damage in this lane, is trying to sustain with these empowered Qs. But I definitely think that was a missed opportunity in the top side of the map. Shane was very low from the trading patterns that have not been going his way, favorably his lane. And now we see Q moving into the top side of this jungle and not a care in the world. And Kindred pathing up here onto this top side of the map yet again. Shane does have access to the flash, and he just uses Slice and Dice here. Aelio super low here, does get the grinding in, looking for the headbutt, will get the stun. Now Shane needs to pop the ultimate here, and he does get it off, but it's not enough. That was the flash coming out to get Aeolios to safety, but first blood going over the side of Rising Tide. Now fight here in the mid lane, has a lot of damage going out of the King Tuller, who's now walking forward to get away from the Anivia Storm. A lot of damage coming out as another Glacial Spike will connect, and I think that's all the action we're going to get here in the mid lane. Now,
I don't know, you got Cutie right behind Kindred.
Top lane, and is looking for this. We see the pings coming out, and then Nivea is now moving up to intercept here. Now, we also see the side of King Tuller.
Oh, if you could interrupt it.
Oh, that was the flash to get her out. That was a fantastic Trundle Pillar to deny the dash there. Now, Reality here, flashing forward, going into the Reality check. Does Zed have the damage? I don't think he does. Reality just went under the tower and kind of inted for that one. And now Woopercent is here in the mid lane, has access to the Zenith Blade. Will they look for it? Does look for it, but does not connect. That is 2 quick kills going over to the side of Rising Tide now. Oh no, Cute is in a bad spot. The binding does connect. They were looking for King Tuller, but Teddy in the right position mixed with the binding. That will be Cute falling. 3 deaths going over to the side of Rising Tide. With trading patterns here in the top lane, I don't think we're going to get anything out of this one, but oh, Mags, so much going on in this game.
There's so much going on, and it's all going in Rising Tide's favor. And, I mean, that mid-play, I honestly didn't hate it except for the fact that Reality did get himself pulled under tower. He would have had the damage if he had been able to get, like, one more auto-off with his Ignite. But it ended up costing his own life. Cute felt like she had to retaliate and get something out of that, costing her own life. And now you're sitting here, you're 8 minutes in, you're down 1 dragon, you're down 1,500 gold, and who do you really play for at the moment?
So I want to quote our great coach back when you and I were on a team together. Our great coach Zimplon said, when things aren't going well and a play starts to go south, what is the one thing you don't do?
You don't
don't try to salvage. Absolutely. Don't try to salvage the play. Now, that is all DZG was doing there. We now see another hook coming out here. It will connect with the 100%. That is Astro going forward. Does get some damage out, but Whisper does get the Feather Callback, or the Blade Callback, and now trying to get damage. Featherstorm comes out, and that will be DZG Astro falling. Now, Reality trying to get out of this one. Another Blade Caller gets another root, and that is a double kill going over to the side of Whisper.
Huh. That's something that that DZG's bot lane needs to kind of pay a little bit of respect. Is you're an Ezreal. You're not gonna really win those all-in fights when both of you are at full health. And I didn't see if Wizard was 6 before the fight or if Wizard hit 6 during it, but I don't even know if that would have been worth without the Zion. You still would have been chunked really low. ADC health and support health is not really a worthwhile trade. And now you have a 2-0 Kindred, 1-0 and 2 Lux, and a 2-0 Xayah you have to try and fight into.
It's definitely not going to be fun, and this Poppy pick coming in here and hitting the grounding almost every time onto Shane that they want to use it. 5-0 is now the scoreline. I'm sorry, 0-5 is now the scoreline. And that's a 2.5k gold. Drake was already secured. There's going to be a Cloud Drake up next for the side, I have to imagine, of Rising Tide. Woopercent now up here in the top lane to create a little bit of chaos as the side of Rising Tide now say, okay, what's next on the map? It's going to be a Herald coming in for them. And that's going to really swing in the gold for whatever lane they want to use it. And every lane is sitting fairly comfortably. Production, if I can get a quick X on the keyboard, please. All right, yeah, so we're looking here right now. There's gold leads in every single position for the side of Rising Tide. Now we're seeing the dive come in. Now, let's get the Charter Pillar connecting under the tower, and gonna be very low. Now, as we're trying to cut this one back, and it's close, but that is a shutdown going over to the side of DZG. Now, Reality died, but it was an execute, so it does not count for our scoreboard being concerned here. DZG strike back with a way to get themselves onto this map here. Get some plates into the bot lane, and that was the right play. They knew that Wooper Simp was away, and they attacked the bot lane. Couldn't make things happen on the top, they go to the bot.
Such a huge amount of gold put into two pretty strong points in your team comp, with the Trundle being more of a front line and your Ezreal staying alive in the back with his extra damage. They were being summoned in mid lane, not quite enough to kill it yet.
But that will be a lot of gold going into this Lux's pocket. Now, the scaling here is a very interesting scenario, right? Kindred scales very well. Renekton doesn't. Nivea scales fairly well. So does Lux. And Ezreal, I feel like, wins this scaling in that regard. And that is first tower going over to King Cooler's pocket. His gold lead staying roughly about the same as it was before the bot lane gank. But, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle now for DZG, as more plates are going to be falling onto the bot side of the map, and literally, I don't see the pressure point that DZG really has to get the game going in their favor. They need to identify some way to utilize to their advantage and try to get some gold into these solo laners, I think, or maybe to spell out some of the bleeding here in the bot lane. But right now, it's very uphill for DZG here, Max.
Yeah, it's very uphill, and as we were saying in draft earlier, with just the amount of utility that Rising Tide has, there's, as you said, not a really good pressure point for Styx to say, if we go here, this is how we get into the game. Because if you go top lane, Poppy W's and runs away and roots everybody, or grounds everybody. Xayah has ult in bot lane now, so that's a harder lane to gank. And mid's opened up, so Lux can just kind of shove the wave and back off.
Especially with having access to that Luden's Echo in the mid lane, very strong compared to just the Amp Tome and the Lost Chapter there for the Anivia. And Dragon's going to be up in 18 seconds, and looking at the map state right now, I don't see that being a world that DZG can contest, especially since they do not have a pressure point here in the mid lane because that tower's open. Now, Kindred haven't got a stack check on her. Stack check on her, but I know that she's been involved in 2 of these kills. I imagine picked up one of those as well. Seeing the gold here real quick. Lux is extremely ahead, and that will be the second tower.
If you're Rising Tide in this scenario, you want to keep doing what you're doing, keep applying the pressure, and you're honestly grateful that you just got a Cloud as a second dragon. Because that negates that option as one of the lesser useful souls. It still has its purposes, but now you have the threat of a 23-minute Infernal Soul that Styx has to fight you at, or this game's just going to be near impossible.
Right. Now, I want to point something out to you, Max. We are seeing Shane opt to go for the first item Mythic, and now this is going to be a dive for Aeolios here. Now pops a Poppy Hammer, but just for a quick knockup, trying to cut out this tower. Cute has it. Now Shane going forward and trying to get some of this damage out, but nothing was able to come to fruition. Now it's going to be a 4-man dive here. Ezreal was tacked up by that. That's going to be the ultimate coming out. Solar Flare, a lot of damage coming through, and Wooper Simp takes down DZG after this tower. Stood doomed to fall. Tower dive not working out on the top side, but Rising Tide with a great tower dive on the bot side. Fine, they're looking.
Punch for punch, Rising Tide has an answer for everything Styx throws at him, even if it's nowhere near the Styx's original play. Styx attempts to dive top lane, doesn't get anything, and then Rising Tide comes down bot, catches your ADC under the tower. You try and catch the ADC, you take the mid tower.
The only easy place to dive is going to be the mid lane, but you don't have mid lane tower anymore. Mid lane's not really a lane anymore, so getting the waves up into the proper position is hard. Because you look at it, you have Solar Flare available for Leona, you have Featherstorm available for Xayah, you have the Poppy ultimate debut to deny a lot of what they want to do on the top side. It is very hard to dive anybody, and that's the only time they really have an avenue to do anything. Now, it's going to be cute up here taking this top lane scuttle, so that is some sort of boon for the side of DZG trying to stay in this one. But they're at a 3.5k gold deficit. They are down 2 jumps, they're down 2 towers. This is very, very hard. Now, I was trying to talk about it before we got some of the action on the top side, but Renekton's not going for the split push build. He went with his Gore Drain. He does not have access to the Hull Breaker. So the split push viability that we have on this champion is mitigated. And now with him laning up against King Tuller having access to no M whatsoever, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be very rough.
Yeah, and I mean, and I will give Shane some defense. It's kind of a lose-lose situation. You go Hull Breaker, and Poppy matches you, and you can't do anything. Or you go first item Mythic, and then your split push is weak, and you still can kind of get screwed. You got a good catch of Wooper.
Well, Wooper going over aggressive there to get a little bit of vision into the top side jungle of DZG, and DZG are able to find them out, and that is a very dead Leona. But, I mean, the kill going over to Cute is nice, but I don't know if that's the gold allocation that you're really looking for.
I don't know if it's gold allocation, but I really love what Styx is doing right now, using that priority to get the Herald, and hopefully uses the Herald and... Hold on, we gotta play top lane.
Oh, well, we're now seeing the ultimate come out to guarantee the follow-up hook. It does connect. That's a lot of damage going out on the King Tuller. I think that was the barrier as well. Flashed down. King Tuller running for their life. Does get a return kill there. The top tower falls, and that is going to be the bot tower falling as well. King Tuller, off Summoner's Birth, will survive it.
And that's... I don't necessarily know exactly what to chalk that up to. Whether it's not necessarily being aware of Lux's barrier timing, or just thinking you can take that one extra tower shot when you really couldn't. Yeah, but you're able to get the top tower, and you're just bleeding everywhere else. You're so far behind. You don't really get much off of your cross-map plays.
Certainly, and DZG right now, like the timers need to. This game needs to slow down for them to be able to come back. They need the tiers to come through, the tier items to come through. Ezreal sitting on an Essence Reaver, still not a fully stacked tier, does not have the Mana Meme completed. This is going to be very rough. Now, Anivia sitting in the same situation, has a Leandries, does not have a completed tier, and doesn't even have any of the components for the Archangel stuff. Now, they do have the Herald, but that Herald's value is extremely diminished post 14 minutes. Now, DZG trying to look to set up for the Drake spawning in 25 seconds, but I think this is going to be where we're really going to get our first team fight, and this will really determine, in my opinion, just the gravity of the game. Now, what goes wide does connect with 2% here. Now, oh my god, that's a 3-man, almost 2-man hold there, and that will be Cute falling almost instantly. That's where all your gold is, heading on a killing spree, as that will be Reality falling as well, with a solar flare coming out and a good bit of follow-up damage from Ketty, and with 2 members of TCG fall. Drake number 3 going over to the side of Rising Tide. Now, King Tuller fighting Shane here on the bot side, I think. Yes, just at the tower on the bot side. He pops the ultimate here and just getting grounded and smacked around. Oh, that was a lot of healing. Will he get it? He got Shane got the shutdown onto King Tuller. He did get the objective bounty on the bot side, so some sort of silver lining there. I did not think he had any way, but between that empowered Q and that Gore Trank coming in, that was a fuck ton of healing. No grievous wounds to speak of yet, but they might look to invest in some after that one.
They're definitely going to want to look to invest into some, but I think that fight just kind of was over before it even began. Once Styx even started to line up for it. I mean, you have Herald. You don't summon at mid lane. Okay, you catch Kindred with it. She uses her ult. She's just gonna kind of walk this one away. Oh, I spoke too soon.
And that will be Kindred falling. And that was a beautiful shutdown going into her pocket. Now they have pressure with this Herald to try to get some gold into their pockets. That is going to be a hook connecting onto Wooper Simp here. Leona trying to run out, and Q does not have access to the subjugate. That will still be a very tanky Wooper Simp. Now, Thunderstorm, platform, Blade Caller, Astro, falling down Reality, facing a lot of damage here. Anchor toss to get themselves out, but it was not enough. Whisper with a double kill, playing frontline side.
I don't know why Styx felt like they had to go for that dive. You're getting a turret bounty mid lane. You still have Herald you can push. You don't need to dive and try and get the extra kill onto the Leona or the Xayah, who both still have their defensive abilities.
If you hit Xayah, maybe you have the first kill. Maybe. But Leona was... And then you tag up Leona, it's like, okay, cool, now we have to kill her through her E, and it's going to take a year and a half. So, DZG trying to bite off more than they could chew. They got the tower, they got the shutdown. Be happy with that. But they hit the gas pedal and they crashed right into it.
Yeah, and Styx need to realize that they've been given a few opportunities, and most specifically in that mid lane, and they need to take what was given to them and not try and overreach for anymore, because they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, using one of your examples, and they just are overreaching on the plays that are already guaranteed.
Well, there's only 2 members of DZG up here. It is reality. It is Cute. And now we're seeing the teleport being channeled here. 2% once again being the target. But Cute is trying to get on the Whisper, but I don't think it'll be enough. Stunned and dead. Whisper, want to kill it free. Now, Shane is in the back line, but I think that was also Aeolio's coming up as well. Astro falls. But they did manage to take out Ketty, but that was for 2 members of DZG. Shane is now in between a rock and a hard place with 4 members of the side of Rising Tide trying to get on. He tries to dash back in, instantly grounded up, does get some healing back, and I don't think he's going to have the answer. They tackle into the wall. Aeolius on a rampage. So much going on in DZG. Every time they look, the stars are not aligning. We've seen this team push advantages to great success. They get an inch, they try to take a mile. But right now, they get the inch, they take the inch, and then they're getting pushed back several.
Yeah, and honestly, Styx, one thing they've done multiple times is they've gone for these multi.
Oh, that was a beautiful flash right here as Cute does go over the binding coming in from King Tuller. The Arcane Barrage, or True Shot Barrage, will connect. The ultimate comes in from Nautilus, connects, and Cute takes down King Tuller yet again. Dragons, 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the table, and now this will give DZG a great chance to try to get some vision control, maybe, but the side of Rising Tide is still very strong, and they will have King Tuller back for this objective. And this is an Infernal Soul Mags, not one you want to give over.
Yeah, as I said, this is not one you want to give over, and going back to my point before Styx managed to pick off King Tuller, is in these skirmishes, in these team fights, Styx is really split on who the focus is in these fights. You have half your damage going for Xayah, you have half your damage going for Kindred, and ultimately you're not able to kill both of them when you're this far behind.
They took a numbers disadvantage on the initial part of that play. They had Cute and they have Reality walking up to go for Wizward and Luther Sim. And I think Kenny was there as well. The problem with that is you are relying on the teleport to even out the numbers advantage for disadvantage. Oh, we're getting a fight here and now. That's going to be the hook going in. But Luther Sim in the backline try to do as much as they can. They will. Oh, Shane takes that one down. 4 members on the side of Rising Tide left available. DZG used a little bit there, but not everything that they have available to them. Now, the Renekton ultimate will fall off. This will limit some of his power that he has available here, and DZG posturing for this strike. Let us connect when the King Tuller no longer has flash available, but will the damage follow be there? No! Whispered is on a rampage. Now the Kindred ult coming through. Shane's going to take full advantage of that one. King Tuller with a great ultimate takes down Astro and puts Dracana in the egg. Wizard on the backside of that will put Shane into the graveyard. DZG takes down 2 members, but they lose all 5. Great falls. Colonel Soul into the pockets of the side of Rising Tide Tsunami.
It was such a good play by Styx. They caught the Leona early. They are able to force the numbers disadvantage for this soul fight, but there's so much gold onto the Xayah that one misstep into all those feathers cost 3 members their lives.
Xayah is one of the champions you do not want to kite into. The Featherstorm Blade Call is such an insane combination, but it wasn't even really needed. They had so many feathers left over from just the auto attack trading into that, he was able to just pull them back in. Shane going into the back line would have been fantastic, but his ultimate had already run out. And even with that, I don't know if he would have had enough to buy out the time. It's very cooldown phase. His auto attacks are fine. But Kindred's just able to bait a lot of that out by just popping the ultimate and saying, okay, cool, my stun's no longer a factor. You don't get as much rage without having the ultimate available to you. And also, you're not that strong when it comes down to it. You have a Black Cleaver and a Gore Drinker. Congratulations. You might pop a Xayah. Oh, wait. Featherstorm. Now, we're seeing them look here on the top side of the map. This is the last outer tower remaining on the map, and I think it's soon to fall.
And we've spent a while criticizing Styx, but I want to take a second and just try and think, if you're Styx, what do you do to try and get back in this situation? You don't win the 5v5s, you don't win the 5v4s, So, what I think they should be doing, and they're doing it right now, is they're just trying to punish. They know they're not gonna outpush Baron. They're most likely gonna reset once Rising Tide gets closer to their base. So they're just trying to get gold where they can. They're trying to get what they can off these objective bounties.
While yes, it's a viable strategy, I think the ultimate strategy that Styx needs to have right now is conserve mental. That's it. Look for game 2. This one I feel has gotten so far out of their hands. The Baron available, the Fertile Soul available, and the picks that you've been looking for have not been working out. This is now going to be top lane and him falling. They're just going to walk around the map, take whatever they want, conserve your mental. Look for game 2. Find out different ways to play this one out. And while I won't fully, index into over criticism, have reality dial back on the aggression early, right? There's been several looks where they haven't been necessarily bad, but just biting off a little bit more than he could chew. The attempt under the tower with the Lux, getting pulled in, not fully respecting the amount Inkertoss would pull them under tower. A few of the over-aggressive looks onto Leona when he didn't have the fight advantage, right? Dial back on that aggressive, maybe play something that isn't just so all in, right? You can play Nautilus a little defensively as well. But conserve your mental, think about game 2.
Yeah. And I mean, Styx is almost definitely going to fight this one out.
Reality tries to anchor toss away, but that was just a few inches to buy themselves some space, as that will now be all 5 minutes of the side of Rising Tide, barreling down. The timer is ticking, and I think that lady is warming up for this first game.
Yeah, and I mean, Styx is going to try to hold out. Gonna try and wave clear with the Anivia. I don't think they
the fight. Goes for the left side of the map, pops the Featherstorm to get away from the stun from the Anivia. Shane pops the ultimate as well. Looper Simple, the front side of the map is stunned up. A lot of damage, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to seal the deal. DZG with the wave clear, I think we'll hold on for now. But you got 2 minutes for the Elder Drake, and I think the side of Rising Tide is going to walk in, take a few of those marks, and go into the bot side of the map.
Yeah, if you're Styx, you just want to try and survive until this Elder. You want Rising Tide to coin flip this Elder, because a 50-50 shot of you getting it is probably your best bet into this game. You're already 2-starred, and you're down almost 10k gold at this point.
Certainly. Well, they are resetting to do one last final fight here, it looks like, for this Elder Drake, and I have to imagine that whoever wins this fight, I don't even know if really have the stats to be able to press through if they are able to win this fight to fully break the base. The death timers are not that long. As crazy as this game looks right now, it's only 28 minutes into it. Elder Drake, the minute 20, DZG, their only option is stay in this one. We are seeing the pathing here coming up, and it's a little early, but they're definitely indexing here into this bot side of the map. DZG need to be very respectful trying to contest any sort of vision here. The pick tools here from the side of Rising Tide are very good in their max.
Yeah, DZG really wants Rising Tide to start this Elder, and they coin flip. And Rising Tide, if they want to just secure safe play this, they don't even touch Elder when it spawns. They have it warded, so you see if DZG goes towards it, but you just start teaching that bot lane with your gold.
Yeah, well, we are seeing a little bit of an aggressive look here, as it will be looking for something cheeky over that wall, but I think they're just going to press into this bot side of the map. If they get the pressure, use the top lane and mid lane super waves to really push in this bot lane inhib, and we're just back up for the Elder when it spawns. 14 seconds coming up on it. DZG have Shane clearing waves here in the mid lane. Bonnie comes out, that connects. That's going to be a Hextech flash over the wall. It will be. Now, Dracana is going to be the target, and they will instantly go into the egg, and the egg will instantly fall. Kenny on a killing spree. Now, 2-man stun here coming in. That is huge. Double kill coming in for Kenny. That might be a triple kill. That was. Now, Whisper taking down Rebecca. I'm sorry. The Trundle, and that will be the Poppy taking out Shane. That is going to be a clean ace from the side of Rising Tide. And it will be Rising Tide moving in here into the mid lane to flash forward, and these towers will fall. First series game will go to the side of Rising Tide.
Yeah, and I mean, Rise of Time played that right. They picked the fight without even touching the Auto Dragon. And DZG, you all you need to do, or not all, but you need to be looking to
DZG
really
in their
try and clean up
proverbial
that
car need
options.
to realize that there is more than one pedal, right? The gas pedal is not the only pedal that there is. You can hit the brakes and slow down things a little bit. Look for the opportunities that you know are not going to be that coin flip because you're not winning the coin flips in this early game yet. Find your tempo, find your pace, then look forward. But Rising Tide played it fantastically. Anything that DZG thought to do, they had an answer for. DZG strike in the bot side of the map. Rising Tide strike in the top. DZG rotate and try to tower dive. Aeolus held on fantastically. Now, DZG's draft needs to be smarter as well. They got counterpicked in 2 lanes. None of the lanes went well for them. Top was not able to win. Shane was not able to do much into the Poppy, which was a fantastic counterpick into the Renekton. The slice and dice being denied by the Poppy debut was fantastic. So, draft and early game execution are the 2 keys that DZG really need to turn the curve on. And the reason I'm not talking about anything Rising Tide here is because just do what you did. It worked out. You played it very well, and at no point in this game did I ever question how they looked in this game. I was like, oh no, this is not looking good for them. So that is the things that I want to see come out. Mags, any further comments that you want to make on this one before we head over and get ready for the Game 2 draft?
Nothing really. The main thing I would want is Styx. If you, in this next draft, get yourself a winning lane for Cute to play towards. Cute has done well in the past playing towards strong lanes and pushing leads, but it's hard for any jungler to push a lead if there's nowhere to really gank.
Certainly. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to head into a quick break as we get set up and look for the second draft coming in for this game series. Sorry, words are hard. Of DZG Styx versus Rising Tide Tsunami. Hang on tight.
I want you to come over. I wish that you would come and give me something to prove. Won't you pull me closer? I think that I'm obsessed with everything that you do. I'm waiting, trying to be patient. You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this. I probably should erase it. I probably shouldn't say this. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, call me a fan. I'm living, give me your hand. I'm in it, yeah. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do. I get nervous, but too good to believe. I don't know how it happened, but baby, I'm ecstatic that you're sticking with me. I'm waiting, trying to be patient. You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this. I probably should erase it. I probably shouldn't say this. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, call me a fan. I'm living, give me your hand. I'm in it, yeah. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do. I want you to come over. I wish that you would come and give me something to prove. Won't you pull me closer? I think that I'm obsessed with everything that you do. I'm waiting, trying to be patient. You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this. I probably should erase it. I probably shouldn't say this. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, call me a fan. I'm living, give me your hand. I'm in it, yeah. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we are getting right into the action here. As actually, we're already past the action a little bit as we have the draft on screen here. Now, we do see that side selection was swapped. DZG did move to the red side, and what we saw, Volibear was the first pick coming out from the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. They banned Cassiopeia, Vigar, and Jinx in the first rotation, and DZG took away the Wukong, Shyvana, Xayah. First pick was the Volibear, and it was answered with the Tsunami bot lane, an extremely potent bot lane coming in from the side of DZG. That bot lane is so fantastic to watch, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play out here. Now, the side of Rising Tide answered with the Braum Misfortune. Not as strong, but there is some opportunity there for a little bit of chaos, right? The bullet time ultimate can do so much to layer over the top of something. DZG answered with a Kindred. Now, if properly utilized, that Kindred R is going to get a lot of mileage out of denying that misfortune. Then we saw the next round of bans coming with the Yorick Vex answered with the Lux Irelia. And the side of DZG went for the Blind Malphite. Now, interestingly enough, they're actually planning to use that as a flex. Answered with the Silas Kale coming in from the side of Rising Tide, and finally we get to see Shane's Redactin again, which I love seeing into that Kale. That is the matchup that you want to see, Mags. I kind of ran through all that, but we see both sides line up. We saw everything kind of pan out. Fortunately, we didn't see it live. Now, personally, the Silence Under the Malphite, very ideal for the side of Rising Tide. I think DZG have a very potent bot lane here with the Tsunami, but that Renekton into the Kale should get a lot of work done early. How are you feeling about this draft here, Max?
So I think this draft is made or broken by how Styx plays the early game. Because they need to play it quick and they need to play it aggressive. Because Silas is gonna become a huge problem with his tier 3 ult stealing Malphite, Renekton, Kindred ult. And Kale, everybody knows. Level 16 Kale, you already might as well start the forfeit vote.
Yeah.
So I want to see Cute pathing towards this bot side, playing towards your aggressive Tsunami, and then once you get, hopefully, 2 kills down there, but you can't always hope for the best. You can't always get the best. Once you get the gank off bot, going up top and trying to help put this Kale down. Let your
Certainly.
strong bot lane play, and let the counters work out themselves, since you picked into a lot of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to consider here, too, is, like, Kale, even when she does get the level 6, her range isn't that long. A quick slice and dice in, and Kale is still in the danger zone. So it's going to be very hard for them to farm. Shane's wave management needs to be absolutely on point to really set up this Kale for a lack of success. Now, I wanted to just talk about that real quick. One last thing before we head into spectate delay. Mags, you see it. Who wins this draft?
I mean, if the game plays out like it did last game, it's going to go towards Rising Tide. They have so much scaling, and they have just a few too many threats that I'm worried about. But that doesn't mean that this is impossible for Styx to come back to. They still have plenty of good answers, and unlike last game, they know where they need to play if they do end up start slipping out of this game.
Well, I actually think that I like this DZG draft. There's a lot of opportunities for them to set up a lot of success, a lot of playmaking tools, and Shane having the counter pick, I think, in the top lane is going to be fantastic to watch. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, time tells all tales, and we will head into a quick spectate delay and be bringing you the Game 2 action of DZG Styx versus Rising Tide Tsunami. Stay tuned.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are here
Ladies and gentlemen, we are hitting the rift once again as the side of DZG is fanning out with a 5-man point, or 5-point this time. Same with the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. Now, hopefully we get a little bit of a chance to talk about the early game a little bit better, but Mags, looking here, one of the things I'm already seeing is really interesting, but what do you see?
I'm seeing one of the things that I'm noticing is a lot of ADCs nowadays taking that exhaust, in which Misfortune is done in this matchup. Makes a lot of sense against the Lucian Nami, but there's the press the attack Volibear makes me a little curious of who is going to be the real front line, or if you're just going to be full in, you're going to die in 2 seconds before you can do damage to us.
One of the things that I noticed, Max, is that DZG opted to not play this bot lane as aggressively as they could. And I don't know if this is comfort, I don't know if it's something that they just don't want to index into, but there is no electrocute on that Nami. Now, the big power point of the Lucian Nami is proccing that electrocute with the Q auto coming into the Lucian. The Nami just pops that so fast in the burst, it's absolutely insane. Myself and Alyssa have played that multiple times and have just literally murdered it. So I'm not sure what the reasoning is, and I'd love to be able to find out, but what are your thoughts on that here?
Yeah, as you said, it definitely is more of a passive rune to take into this matchup, and it's not one you normally see with Lucian Nami. And I didn't even initially catch it, which is why I probably didn't bring it up. It makes me feel that maybe they're a little shell-shocked after that first game, and they don't want to lose the game too early, too quick.
And I'm okay with that in some regards, but one of the things that I do not like is playing to not lose, right? So if DZG is going to opt for something super aggressive with the Lucian Nami, play it to the full advantage. If you're going to live and die by the sword, then pull out the sword every single time. Now we are seeing the engage here coming in. Ping 2 are not connecting with the second use of Duck there in the mid lane. Now Shane once again pushing very aggressively. Both junglers are on the top side of the map. I hope to see something coming up here soon, but this wave management will be crucial in the top side of the map.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're DZG, you do want to see this, because your Renekton is a lot more useful than... A Renekton level 3 is a lot more useful than the Kayle level 3.
Certainly.
And
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we look like we're gonna see something here.
Oh, we are gonna see it. Ketty now is here up in the top side. Q going one of them now. We'll get the proc up, and a lot of things coming onto this Volibear. Now, how will Volibear get out? Still running them down, and Silas is not answering. Now looking in to fight Dracana here a little bit in the mid lane, and Dracana trying to dodge that out. But the Abscond of Duck does connect. Dracana trying to kite this one out is ignited, so is Silas, and that will be a very fair trade here in the mid lane, but it does cost Dracana their flash. Almost dead there. As now Q pathing into the mid lane. Will be able to find a little bit of damage here, maybe, but just looking for the wave. Teddy once again here to answer it now. King Cooler going in, does get the heal. Oh my god, that's a lot coming in. And Keddy will be looking aggressively. That's the second flash burn for both DZG, mid and jungle. No access to their flashes.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if that's worth, but the entire goal was you trying to get to that bottom scuttle to get that stack. You had the bot lane response, but you didn't have the mid lane, and you had to walk through that into a Silas, and that ended up costing your flash. You did end up getting the stack, which, I mean, all is well that ends well, but you really won't know how much that play helped Rising Tide unless they're able to punish this flash for 5 minutes.
We're seeing the aggression coming in from Shane here, but I don't think it will be enough. He does not have access to the Ignite, so his kill potential is minimized here onto this Kayle. And Kale's doing very well farming this one out. We are seeing Kenny path up here onto the top side again. Shane does have access to Slice and Knight, does have access to Flash, and Kenny was spotted up before. But we're now seeing Astro getting stunned up here from the bomb passive. They're looking aggressively. See the exhaust coming out now onto Wizward, and now that will be Reality stunned up as well. DZG trying to push this one forward, going aggressively. Bubble connects. This might be it. Damage coming through, but will it be enough? And no, Astro Flashing forward does get the first blood, but instantly answered back as Wizward does get the return kill. Now, Shane looking forward here, playing this one very aggressively. Keddy is now up here as well, but I think Shane will be able to walk this one back. DZG with the first blood did come out. Shane playing this one very aggressively, going Volley Bears right there, and almost gets the kill on Alias. Now, we're seeing fight in the mid lane. Dracana doing a lot of damage here, but it's not going to be enough. Now we're seeing the recall coming in here. Keddy on the top side of the map will be holding on strong. You have to think these mid laners are about to hit 6. Cute coming up here might be looking for something cheeky, but it will be the Abscond of Death going forward. Now a lot of damage coming out the second. Cute, Proc will hit percent here in the mid lane, getting a lot of the damage out, looking to get the broad passive. King Tour trying to get it out. The stun comes through. Difficult kill coming in. King Tour on the platform.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not entirely aware of mid Malphite's power spikes. I'm gonna assume they're mostly the same as his top, which is level 6, is his like biggest power spike in the early game. So I'm still a little curious as to why you're picking fights, unless Dracana's really close to that level 6 and just barely didn't get it. But why? I don't know why you're picking fights without that huge team fight turning ability.
So it's pretty much a mirror, the top lane matchup. And the thing is, Malphite is able to get some fantastic trades off, but the problem is if you're not respectful of the W, the Kingmaker, Kingslayer, something like that, usage to get the heals off, then you're not going to win repeated trading patterns, because Silas is able to just pretty much nullify a lot that comes in. Now, his 1 through 3 is okay. He's able to get the full utilization off of his passive, but it's when he starts really getting those points into the W to be able to get the big heals off that's going to be beneficial. Now, Silas has access to the Malphite ult. This is going to be a very bad time here for Dracana, who does not have access to his. Maybe looking for the 6 here, trying to get it out, but it's going to be a couple minutes away, I think. And Silas, he's scary. He's very scary. Now the ultimate coming in, King Cooler will connect, but not connect with the Abscond Duck, but it did not matter. Now, Dracana coming over the wall as well, but Kingmaker, the W coming up very soon. That is going to be bad news there for Dracana. Ult for ult, King Cooler, 3-0 on Silas. DZG, this is not the individual that you want to hit goal.
That was really good awareness by King Tooler, seeing Q walk out of vision and getting it exactly, even though it was still in fog for him, getting it exactly on top, and even though you missed your E, you still get that kill onto the level 4 Kindred. Put their one of their top scaling factors behind.
Now DZG Astro is trying to play aggressively, but like we said before, no electrocute on the Nami means your aggressive potential is very limited here. Just due to the nature of the matchup. Now, Ares good. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, we are seeing Kindred here clear onto the bot side of the jungle. It's only a 1k deficit, and Ocean Drake is the first dragon available. It's not doom and gloom yet for DZG, but Silas being strong is damn scary.
Silas being strong is scary, and I mean, you just need to either slow down the Silas or find a way to get that shutdown. Because that was a 600 gold shutdown 8 minutes into this game. If you can get that, that will turn this game on its head. What? 3-0.
Oh, well, we're seeing the Bolt Time come out, connect on the Nami, but it will not be enough, as that was Reality popping the flash here. Now, Rising Tide will be moving their way over to the Drake, and I think that can do that.
Yeah, and I really am hoping to see Q go to this Rift Herald. Looks like he is. So, trading cross map, and DZG's volley need to play safe. You just saw them take Dragon. You need to be expecting Volley Bears there to dive you.
Volley Bear does have access to the ultimate, but so does Reality. He has access to these tidal waves coming from the Nami. Oh no, Dracana! Gotta be careful on that one. He is forced to flash away, as that almost was a very dead boulder in the mid lane. Now, DZG, they're still seeing the posturing coming out from the side of Keddy, but it will not be followed up with. DZG should be able to clear out this wave and be able to take that very safely. Now, DZG do get the Herald onto the top side of the map, and they are looking to funnel this gold, I believe, into Shane, with moving into the top side jungle of Rising Tide. Now, DZG posturing around. This is going to be very interesting here, Max.
It's going to be interesting, and I mean, your silver lining is you have Herald. It's pre-14 minutes. You can get a lot of gold on almost whoever you pick, whoever you want that gold to be on. And whether that's Shane and just really keep this KO down, or do you get it mid and try and put Silas behind? Even though I don't think that's necessarily the ideal use, that is still an option. And you still have this early game bot lane that hasn't really amounted to much.
Well, we talked about it. The early game bot lane is fantastic. Tsunami is very aggressive, very strong. Missing Electrocute. And I feel like Wizward and the Cloud of Wooper Sim, just the combination of their weapons is very lethal if they're ever able to connect onto their target. In reality, doesn't have access to flash anymore, so he has to play very careful here. Wooper Sim clearing out this. We'll get the vision control here, and maybe they're looking to catch him out for it, but Silas is walking down. I think can take the Malphite ultimate here in about, I think, 30 seconds. We'll have access to steal that ultimate again. And one of the annoying things is that, especially since we're seeing the Bomby Cinder here coming in for Malphite, Silas with a Malphite ultimate is a better Malphite than Malphite with that ultimate. So one of the annoying things here that they need to deal with. But Drake gonna be in 240. It won't be an Infernal Drake, or a Soul rather, which is fortunate for the side of DZG. But down here, posturing in the bot lane, might try to get DZG Astro and Reality for a little bit more of a comfortable position. Now, the bubble comes in, does not connect. Reality trying to look for something here as people just be going through this wall, and I think spotted out with Ward. Silas and Kindred are down here as well. This is going to be a great bullet time coming in. Reality's going to be taking real low and Bill. Oh, Wooper going forward. Does get attacked up by the Kindred ultimate, saving their life. Use their own ultimate there to buy some time. Astro is now the target as the tower is turned off. Double kill coming in from Wizward. Dracana here, way too late. No access for the ultimate, and this will not go DZG's way. It's 2 quick kills going to pocket from Wizward.
The entire fight was lost because Rising Tide knew exactly what was going on. They had a ward on DZG's Grump, and they saw Q clear it and not path up towards ward. They knew Q was looking for something through lane and bot, and nothing amounted to it, and they were able to get a response that was just ultimately better than what DZG could amount.
Well, DZG trying to get a little bit of a action up here on the top side of the solo lane with just Jane trying to play aggressive, but a 20 CS lead into the Kale for the counter pick, that's not redeeming enough the way that this early game is going. That is 4k gold deficit, close to it. And DZG lost the tower bot side, lost the first Drake, took nothing with the Herald yet. In Reality coming in here to do something to help Dracana out, but that's a tank Malphite. You do not have the damage profile here to really get anything. Now, the Herald going to be dropped topside. You have a minute on it to get the rest of these plates and maybe get Shane ahead, but it's going to be really rough for Shane to do anything in this game.
It's gonna be rough, and I mean, you do get the top tower, so I mean, ultimately, only difference is first tower, and I mean, slight lead towards DZG on the tower trades because Rising Tide split it 3 ways, whereas DZG split the last 2 plates 2 ways.
Well, this is beneficial in some regards, but Kale is just easily able to freeze this and say, hey, I'll join in the next 5 minutes. Silas is more than strong enough to carry these fights, especially if he has access to the ideal ult. Remember, he only took 1 Malphite ult, Unstoppable Force, in the mid lane fight. He has access to that again because in the last one he took a Kindred. So, Silas is going to be an absolute X factor, and all Kale really has to do is just exist.
Yeah, all Kill has to do is exist, and I mean, Rising Tide already has setup on this dragon, and ideally, you would have had most of your members on DZG going towards top lane to try to get something on the other side of the map. You just got your resets late, and you're just kind of just taking that tower in response for this dragon with your delayed reset.
Well, we are seeing a fight here in the jungle. Now King Shuler has access to the ultimate, pops it, and it is on a rampage. As that will be Dracana falling. Cupno up here to look to get one to Aeolios. The ultimate coming out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The Kindred free-sack will pop, and they were just able to walk that one out. Kenny is now here on the top side of the map, so is Wizward. Stun coming out, damage coming out now. That's going to be some people buying time, but Wizward on a rampage. Jane next to fall will fall. That is going to be a 5-0 Misfortune, 4-0 Silas. DZG in the coffin. They're waiting for these nails to come, and they need some sort of way to make sure that lid is not closed and shut out the lights. They get a bubble here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Percent doesn't even pop the shield yet with the Astral coming in from that Lucian. Now, DZG just once again looking down the barrel.
of a loaded gun, a rapidly accelerated late game scaling team comp. And I mean, what do? Your early game option on the top lane didn't succeed as you would hope. Your early game bot lane didn't succeed as you would hope. You have a play here mid. Looks like Astro is
just actually they robbed in a hard place. The ultimate does come in from Jakana, but remember, they don't have a lot of damage. They will look to get some damage onto Wizard here, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. And I guess DZG need to feel somewhat happy about that, as they do lose their 80 carry for 1%. But once again, these look like desperation ultimates coming out from reality to try to salvage something here, and DZG are just not finding what they need now. Silas looking for the Abscond Abduct. He does take the Nami ultimate, pops it now to buy some space here, to push Shane away. King Tool are now unstoppable as Kindred will fall. Now, Shane's going to be the target here, but Shane is doing a lot on this Renekton, but it is not enough. Get some low health bars, but that is a pick coming in. King Tool going back in and just eviscerates Reality Tsunami. Now, King Tool sitting 6-0, a 10-stack Dark Seal. This man is an absolute menace, and DZG has no grievous wounds to handle.
I have no grievous wounds, but another big question is, do they have the gold to invest in grievous wounds? When you're this far behind, every 10 gold.
Astro's not going to be the target. Does get tagged up by the Glacial and Wizard with one more attack. Goes godlike 7-0 on this misfortune. And the gold is in the right places for Rising Tide here. This mid lane tower is next to fall. This is a 5k gold lead. And I'm sorry, Max, but this is going to be very uphill inside of DZG.
This is going to be very uphill. You need a pretty close to a wet team fight. You're looking on Alios now. Is going to end up getting the kill. You gets the gold, so that is where you want the gold to be instead of under the Malphite. But you need multiple kills led into getting shutdowns and or objective bounties, because you're down so much and so early into the game.
The side of Rising Tide say we'll take a kill dying. Like we said, Aeolus needs to do absolutely nothing in this game. Literally just exist. If they die, that's fine. Literally just don't do something too much. And fortunately for the side of Rising Tide, all they lost there was the death. Now Shane's going to just instantly get evaporated. Bullet Time doing a lot of work there, as both this side of U% and Wizard just popping whatever they want. Kind of ulting over the wall to get away. Does not have access to the flash, so I think that's going to be a very dead Malphite. King Tour does not even pop the ultimate there. Now, Reality trying to buy some time with the Nami ultimate, but it will be not be enough, as Teddy takes them down on the volley bear. Now, the side of Rising Tide looking to do something. King Tour pops the ultimate to try to catch up to Cute, but does miss. That is going to be the flash coming in from Cute there, and just once again, everywhere DZG look, it is not the story they want to see. DZG trying to hang in, and it's the rocks are crumbling out from underneath their feet here, Max.
And I mean, at this point in the game, you need to go for something desperate, and the more desperation plays you go for, the further behind you're going to get. So, you need to just 5-man, 1 person, 1 lane, get what you can out of it. Maybe you have Shane sit alone in a lane, or Asher sit alone in a lane, you have 4 people hiding in fog, but you need to do something to catch Rising Tide off guard, and find a way to get just some gold in your pocket, because you're running on fumes right now.
Certainly. And, you know, there's viable strategies, right? If Kayla's going to be in the side lane, she's going to be your target. You Kindred tag her. Unfortunately, in the last time that they found her, they didn't have a Kindred tag on her and weren't able to get the stack. Maybe it was on cooldown. I don't give Cute the benefit of the doubt on that one. But now with this straight coming in, you're going to have to get this one. Do not fight this one. You have to wait for the sword. Unfortunately, it's Mountain. That means it's going to be even harder to find these first pick opportunities. And Cute is on the top side of the map looking for something here. Now, has Kale tagged now. This is what you want to do. Now it's all about the opportunity to rotate the Kindred down, try to find the pick, try to get some sort of scaling here. Now, one thing that I do notice is that Shane once again did not opt to go for the Hull Breaker. Did opt to go once again for the Core Drinker to try to maybe team fight, but they're accelerating the tempo of this game out here. That is the Herald. Dropped into the mid lane. Now, they're ultimately coming out for a lot of damage here as Woodford supports the Gale Force backwards. Now, we're seeing Polybear go through. We're seeing Kindred ultimate come out as well. Dracana falls from Malphite. Now, Q going to be the next target. Will fall as well. DZG are in shambles, but their health bar is not looking hot, as that will be King Tour here in the base now looking for for Reality. Kenny might fall, doesn't fall into the tower. Shane gets that one. No, sorry, Astro got that one. As Shane went into the backline and took down Whooper. Now, DZG hanging on here. Shane trying to look for something, is not able to slice and dice through this wall just yet. Aeolius is now here to look for a little bit of the damage. It's not very strong. Now, DZG has some of their members alive. They're looking to defend this bot lane tower. And Shane looking forward aggressively here. But Silas, oh my god, does so much damage. Just eviscerates Astro in the backline. Shane now trying to hang on, try to get a little bit done here. Does not. DZG with, I think that was 3 members falling very quickly and only taking down Kenny. Now, DZG have 4 members here to hang on to this base, and I think this is going to be Rising Tide getting out of this one. They're slowing down Julius, might look for this, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch up, and I think that's going to be the action. Kind of fizzling out.
Right, Silence right here on the side.
Oh, they do find Cute. Cute will fall. King Tuller is legendary. Dracano goes forward with the ultimate, but gets so much healing back. There's no Grimace Worms. We talked about this. Now he's going to go gold, buying time for the W cooldown yet again. He did take the Kindred ultimate. I'm sorry, that was the Hail ultimate coming onto him. And the W cooldown was enough to come back in. Now, Lursen will get the slow here. The damage coming out. The stacks coming out as well. Silas connects and is legendary. 11-0 on the Silas. And DZG just get eviscerated. 4 deaths once again on the scoreboard, going to the side of Rising Tide.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure what you should be doing if you're Styx, because you've tried so many things. You tried so many different desperation plays that you need a desperation play to lead into your desperation play.
Certainly. And the base defense isn't even going well. King Tuller, like, if he has Zonius, he's able to live for like a week, right? He's able to W, get all his health back, wait a little bit, and then W again, because there's one person that has Grievous Wounds on this map, and it's not. And it's tier 1 Grievous Wounds. Silas has Ludi's, he has Zonius, and he's working to finish his 3rd item now. Like, he is an absolute beast. Now they're going to be starting up this National. I think this is going to be pretty unsuccessful. DZG do not have the tools. 2 minutes on the Mountain Goal. And, I hate to be the broken record, but it's an uphill battle. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
We're taking the Renekton ult now. Might be looking to play a little cheeky here. Not the best one for him to get. Might not have had access to the Malphite ult, but they're looking for it here and did not connect with the Ensconed Duck. I think going to be hanging in here a little bit. Bullet time just shredding Shane. And their DZG's gonna walk out of this.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't have been too upset to see Reality. Since you are taking Southern Area, you're not taking the lane dominating rune. Just rush Putrefier. You see a Kale, you see Volibear.
Coming in, only connects on the Wooper here now. Rakana just getting shredded. Whisper will take them down. Astro trying to play this very aggressively in the front line, and they do kill Whooper, but they also do take down Whispered as well. Now Silas is here joining the fight. Shane is very low. Astro and Dracana did fall in that engagement. Reality now getting run down by Silas, absolutely deleted from Summoner's Rift here. And that's going to be 3 members alive from the side of Rising Tide, and Drake coming up in 48 seconds. Fortunately, nothing more that they should be able to get here, as Shane should be able to defend this base. No waves in suboptimal positions here. Cute just executed. Does die to the tower. Okay, I thought it was going to fall to the Volibear W. And DZG.
I was like, Cute dies to the tower, but you waste so much time trying to run away that you're not going to be alive you're going to barely be alive for for Rising Tide. And that fight would have been good. I mean, at this point, would have been good even if Cute did die to the Volibear, because you got to shut down onto MF, who still has a 700 gold shutdown, so it's still really far ahead.
Yeah.
But now you're not going to be up. Now you just kind of have to give Soul, which is now makes it even harder to get these picks.
We do see Silas coming in here now with the Lich Bane. That is going to be a metric load of burst, and he's already been eviscerating people from this map. The Soul is going to be falling. Rising Tide, yeah, Magic can pick it up as DZG trying to look for something here in this mid lane, and do not necessarily get it. Now, we are seeing King Tuller coming in from the flank side here, and Wizard is looking for it aggressively. Does get the Braum go for Reality. Will fall. 1% takes that one down. Damage coming out, and the Braum ultimate goes wide. Does not connect. King Tuller here in the back line looking for the Ensconed Duck. Does not connect with either. Now Chikata in the middle did absolutely no damage with the ultimate. She's now trying to do something in the back line, buying some time with the ultimate as well, and it does nothing. Shane fighting King Tor in the back line and will not be able to do, or either of them will be able to fall, but it will be the side of Rising Tide here in the mid lane, trying to get this aggressively. Shane, he's trying, he will not be able to do it, and that will be the ace coming through. The side of Rising Tide still have 5 members, and I think this should be the series going over to Rising Tide. There's nobody left for DZG to defend this. Just getting realities here. That's Tsunami, and that will be Nexus Tower 1 falling. Reality might just die for a little bit of icing on top. They will silence 14-0. Ping, Tuller, absolute menace as the Nexus will fall. That is a quick 2-up for the side of Rising Tide Tsunami. Oh.
Well, I mean, clean games out of Rising Tide. I mean, we could sit here and criticize DZG all we want, but I mean, ultimately, Rising Tide came out, they played the better games, and Rising Tide, they just want to look forward to next week and think, how do we repeat what we did this week in week 4? DZG,
Absolutely.
you want to go into this week and think, how do we prevent what happened in week 4 and just replicate what we did in week 1 and week 3? Because they had the game problem in week 2.
Yeah,
how do we recreate those first 2 games and avoid what happened today?
Absolutely. And I think the big answers are identify the draft and game state that you want to play, right? Draft around that, index into it, and make sure that you're taking the right opportunities to play it aggressively. You had very strong tools, just underutilized, right? You had the Malphite really strong. Unfortunately, it got countered by a very well played Sylas. Understood. Index around something else. You have the Kayle Renekton matchup. That matchup should go very easily into Shane's favor, and he was playing it well. He was winning the trades. Kayle was a non-factor, but unfortunately, Sylas got so far ahead. Now, the bot lane is where I really want to highlight tonight. Game 1, understood, bad game. Happens, no big deal. Game 2 was played better, but I just don't think they brought the right tools for the task at hand. If you want to play that aggressively, you want to get onto the Misfortune, blow her up early, take the Electrocute, play aggressively early. If you're not going to do that, put all of your resources into Shane and dive the fuck out of Kayle before she's level 6. Also a viable strategy. Or freeze the wave and make Kayle literally absolutely useless and just build up an insurmountable lead on Renekton and do nothing on the rest of the fucking map. Some options for DZG. Hey, we all have bad days, right? I just want to see these mistakes learn from and then come out super hard in the next week. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again so much for joining us and watching the stream. Unfortunately, couldn't bring you the dubs tonight, but hey, we don't always get what we want, right? So come catch us next week as DZG Styx will be taking on to the Rift once again and getting right back into form. Max, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and everybody have a wonderful evening.